What's up, everybody? Nice to see you again. I'm glad that you made it to my second video. If you aren't familiar with me, my name is Anthony Williams and I'm a digital illustrator. If you want to see my work, you can see that at my website, which is anthonywilliamscreates.com. So in the last video, I gave you guys a bunch of information about who I am and my journey. So I thought it would be cool if we did like a 20 questions type of thing. I got a bunch of cards here with some questions on them that you may have asked me. So let's get started. Question 1. When did you first start drawing? I was probably around 5 or 6 when I first started drawing. I used to draw in school all the time. In elementary school, I would draw stuff like Ninja Turtles, Street Fighter 2 characters, little dudes on skateboards, all sorts of stuff. I used to draw stories. Essentially, that's how it started for me. Question 2. What are your inspirations for your art? This is a great question. I love answering this one. I am really big into cartoons. I have been since I was a kid. The cartoons that I used to love were always the ones that were like bordering on not for children. So stuff like Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, Ah Real Monsters. There was this cartoon that used to come on MTV called The Brothers Grunt, which was absolutely disgusting. And me and my sister used to watch it all the time, and I wasn't really supposed to, but I did anyway. Obviously, The Simpsons. Obviously, like The Simpsons is probably one of my biggest influences, just because it's been around forever. Beavis and Butthead, of course, again, not really for children. A lot of that stuff found its way into my artwork. Question 3: which do you prefer, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Fresco, or Procreate, and why? This question is a little difficult for me to answer, just because I use them for different things. Most of the time, you will find me in Procreate. That's normally when I'm just drawing stuff that's either going to go on social media or on my website. It's more or less just adding to my portfolio. But if somebody comes to me and they say, I'd like a t-shirt design, or I need something for a poster or a flyer or something like that, at some point it will need to be vectorized. If that's the application, then yes, then that's when I will use Illustrator or Adobe Fresco. I mean, if I had to pick a favorite, I'd probably say Procreate, just because that's where I spend most of my time. Question 4, what are your current artistic goals? Currently, my goals are to share my artwork with as many people as possible, to upload videos like this one, and hopefully getting more clients so I can get more work. Question 5, favorite types of things to draw, least favorite. Again, I love drawing cartoons and stuff like that, so I'm really big into drawing monsters and little characters and scary clowns and creatures like that. I was never drawn solely to the comics that looked like super realistic. I wasn't big into like Superman. I did like Batman. And X-Men, things like that. But I mean, I couldn't draw like that, and I still can't draw like that. So that's just, that's not necessarily my least favorite thing to draw, but that's not really my style. Question 6, how difficult is it having a wife who is always right? I'm almost positive that my wife put that in there, but I'll answer it anyway. I'm going to answer it honestly. I can do that. To be perfectly honest with you, it is not difficult having a wife that is always right. There are times when she will make a suggestion and I'll go, I mean, it's an idea, but I'm going to do it my own way. And of course, it's hard or it doesn't work out for me. And I'm like, secretly, I'm going to do it her way. And then she sees me in the process. She's like, oh, decided to take my advice, did you? She's usually right on the money every single time. So I've gotten used to it. So it's not difficult for me anymore. I'm used to my wife always being right. Question 7. What's harder, digital illustration or traditional illustration? Honestly, that is based off of the person. Me personally, I found digital illustration to be a lot more accessible. I like the idea of drawing something and then if I make a mistake, I can just hit undo. A lot of traditional drawing classes, they tell you don't erase anything. Like, keep your mistakes. Like, try not to lift the pencil off the paper. Just like draw. And that never felt natural to me. I was always just like, yeah, but I made a mistake. It looks like crap. Why would I continue? That was one thing that I really enjoyed about digital illustration, is I can make that mistake and then go, oh, I didn't like that, and just get rid of it, and it's gone. But it's all personal preference. Some people would probably find, I'm sure there's people who find digital illustration to be harder than traditional, but they're probably in the vast minority. Question 8. What was your aha moment when you realized things began to click with your art? When I stopped trying to draw things that I didn't like to draw, and I just concentrated on drawing cartoons. And eventually I would draw something, and then I would draw something else, and I would consistently draw these things, and I would look back at the first thing and compare it to what I just drew, and I would be like, I this is better. Like, I've actually improved. You know, when you're drawing stuff and you're basically keeping the same style and you can see the progression, that will motivate you to continue to move forward. That was my aha moment. Question 9. Do you eat more fruits or vegetables? To be perfectly honest with you, it's probably more vegetables. Question 10. How has social media helped you share your art? I think social media is great for sharing your art, specifically if you don't have a lot of following and you're trying to gain one. You're trying to create an audience. Social media is great for that. But if you just decide today that you're going to start drawing because you want to make money, and social media is the only way that you're going to market it, then you're not going to make any money. And I can only say that because of personal experience. I used to think that all I have to do is share my stuff on social media, people will like it, and they'll ask me to buy it. And it just doesn't work that way. Question 11. What are your thoughts on AI art? This one is always kind of difficult for me just because I don't know very much about AI art. I know there's a strong group of people who think that AI is great and they will defend it tooth and nail. And then there's the other side of the coin where people are talking about how it steals art and how anything that you prompt is going to be made up of somebody else's art out there. And I feel like if that's the case, if it really is taking from other people's art and, compounding that together and then spitting out something, I don't think that's right. I think that it's much more ethical to just draw your own stuff, create your own stuff, paint your own stuff. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't worry me because at the end of the day, as powerful as those machines are, they're not as twisted as I am. So they can come up with some pretty amazing stuff, but they'll never be able to come up with the twisted stuff that I can come up with and draw in the same way that I can draw it. So as long as I keep working and practicing my art style, I will always be a step ahead. And that's the way that you should view it as well. Like if you're on top of your art game, then you've got nothing to worry about. Question 12. Who are the artists that you look up to? Now, I had to write these down on this card because there's so many of them. Just to name a few: Alex Pardee, Brock Hoffer, Chris Piasek, Aaron Rutten, Will Carsola, Jazza, the late great Bernie Wrightson, 1000. My friend Lakota Meyer is a really amazing illustrator. My friend Chuck Collins is awesome and doing some really cool stuff with comics. You got Jimbo Phillips, who's obviously responsible for a lot of the Santa Cruz designs. Like there's too many to name. There's way too many to name. But I find that when I go online, especially on Instagram, I find so many people who are just really talented artists that inspire me all the time. So those are the kind of guys that I look up to. Question 13. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He'd chuck all the wood that a woodchuck chucks when a woodchuck can chuck wood. That's the answer. Question 14. I've seen your work and I love it. Where can I buy it? First off, thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you're actually interested in buying anything that you see, I would suggest reaching out to me first, and I will put my email in the description below. I am open to taking commissions, but I like to have a conversation with the person first and find out what they need and, just kind of, get the details about the project before I just say, oh yeah, I'll sell you artwork for this amount of money. It doesn't work that way. I always talk to my clients first. Question 15. Did you go to school to learn to draw? I did take a course. I took a couple courses in illustration. I also took some in 2D design. But for the most part, I am completely self-taught. Everything that I learned how to do, I just taught myself. I looked at stuff, I kept drawing it, and just practiced. And that's what I'm constantly doing, is I'm constantly practicing, learning, and trying to get better. Question 16. How old are you? I am 42. Question 17. Isn't digital art sort of expensive to get into? Are you rich? I wish. I am definitely 100% not rich. Like if you're thinking I need to spend $2,000 on an iPad, then I need to spend another $1,000 on this, and then I need to, then yeah, it's going to be expensive. But you can get into digital illustration relatively cheaply. Photoshop and Illustrator and those programs, they offer trials. But if you don't want to use that, you can draw inside of GIMP, which is free. Most people have a computer. You can get a small tablet for relatively cheap and jump right into digital illustration. It doesn't have to be a bank-breaking endeavor. Question 18. Can I use the restroom? Take the pass. It's on the front counter. Hurry back. Question 19. I draw too. How can I get better? There's only one way to get better at drawing, and that's literally to practice and to be consistent. So if you want to get better, the best thing that you can do is to draw every day. Just draw. Just find something that you want to draw and draw it, and then tomorrow draw something different. Draw at different times during the day. Or if you're one of those people that need to be on a strict schedule, pick and block out a time, and that will be your drawing time. Every single day, between this time and this time, you will be drawing. If you can draw every single day for an entire week, that's a huge accomplishment, and you will see improvement. I guarantee it. And question 20, how do you keep from constantly comparing others' work to your own? So that's a hard one. Everybody is different. I've done the same exact thing. I used to always look at other people's drawings and go, man, they're just so much better than me. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Like maybe drawing isn't for me because I can't do that. I can't draw that way. Now what I try to do, I try my best to see other people's drawings, and even if it's not my style, to find something about it inspiring. I think that's what everybody should do. Instead of comparing yourself to somebody's work, you should be inspired by somebody else's work. You don't compare yourself to other people. Be inspired by other people, and work to be the best version of yourself that you can be. And a bonus question, question 21, how can I follow you? Again, my website is anthonywilliamscreates.com. I am also on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, and I'll leave those links in the description below. And that's it. Thank you very much for playing 20 questions with me. If there's something that you wanted to know about me that I did not answer, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. If you like this video and you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell so that when I come up with another video, you don't miss that one either. That's it for me. I'm going to get out of here and go draw. Check you later.